Hello, welcome back to Non-synchronous online course. You may be working as a biological researcher or biological laboratory supporting staff. It doesn't matter what your job title is. You are a stakeholder in the biological supply chains and you are working somewhere in the biotechnology industry. Every day we use various computing devices in the laboratory office and home. We use several applications or apps and software programs. As a stakeholder of the biological supply chains, we should be aware of the vulnerabilities while using the cyber network. This module will focus on cyber techniques, strategies, procedures, and our vulnerability. Okay, let's get it started. In this module, what are you going to learn? Bearing in mind that the participants of this remote training are from diverse backgrounds, in this module I will touch upon cyber-enabled means, advanced persistent threats, passive versus active cyber attacks, digital transformation, business critical digital dependencies, biological industry, informatics and information technology, OSI, open source information, cyber security risks, pathways to proliferation, and finally, little bit about trends in cyber security risk mitigation. The advances in computer science and communication technology has revolutionized the way we work. However, these advancements provides cyber-enabled means to revisionist proliferator states and their agents. Cyber-enabled means serves as a tool for the revisionist proliferator states to evade the detection and evade the trade restrictions are some of the goals of the revisionist proliferator states. We have made an impressive progress in communication technology. However, because of its misuse, it creates the new threats. That's why cyber-enabled means has become a tool for the revisionist proliferator states and their agents. The cyber-enabled means pose new biosecurity threats at global, regional, national, and local levels. Hence, as a biological researcher or a stakeholder of the biological supply chains, you should be aware of the cyber tactics, techniques, and procedures used by the proliferators and their agents. In every country, digital transformation is going on with high speed. The biomedical or biotechnology research domain, biological supply chains, and its stakeholders are also heavily dependent on digital technologies. The digital transformation have a number of benefits. However, at the same time, these new digital dependencies make us more vulnerable as we are prone to the cyber attacks. The digitization in life sciences, in biomedical and biotechnology domain is vulnerable if appropriate CyberBioSecurity control measures are not implemented in time, because cyber-enabled means are used by the proliferators to acquire unauthorized access to dual use and trade restricted biological and chemical items. The cyber-enabled means can be used to develop, resume, or modernize an offensive biological or chemical weapons program. Cyber-enabled means can be used to enhance a defensive position. For instance, development of biological and chemical countermeasures, including vaccines. Cyber-enabled means can be used to achieve an economic or first-mover advantage over competitors through the acquisition of tangible, intangible, dual-use, and trade-restricted items. The APTs, the Advanced Persistent Threats, refers to a cyber attack aimed to compromise and steal data or take over direct surveillance of a system for an extended period. The proliferators can steal the biosecurity sensitive information to achieve their goals or for the financial and political gain. The APT's detection often occurs at late stage after the cyber biosecurity breach has been happening for weeks, months, or even years. Bear in mind, the APTs cause extensive privacy breaches. The US Department of Health and Human Services defines an APT as a long-term cybersecurity attack that continuously attempts to find and exploit vulnerabilities in a target's information system. So, while using different softwares and applications, we need to be careful. Cyber biosecurity is extremely important in order to protect biosecurity sensitive data and information. Cyber attacks are divided into two main categories. One is called passive attacks, and the second category is called active attacks. The goal of the passive attacks is to compromise confidentiality, to hide, monitor, learn, steal, or exfiltrate the data. The passive cyber attacks enables the attacker or the agents of the proliferators to get access to the sensitive, proprietary, and business critical information, or the biosecurity sensitive information, but no modifications of IT environment itself. In other words, the passive cyber attack will be non-disruptive. On the other hand, the active cyber attacks will be disruptive. The active cyber attacks allows attackers to gain access to information to directly alter systems and resources or modify the operational outcome of targeted organization's IT system. This is very important. So I repeat, the active cyber attacks allows attackers to gain access to information to directly alter systems and resources or modify the operational outcome of the targeted IT system. Active cyber attack could be a standalone attack, or it could be in combination with a passive attack. The main goal of the active attack is to compromise integrity and availability of the information. Nowadays, majority of the biotechnology and other new businesses are heavily relied on digital technologies or applications. The automation of processes, use of specialized software, software-defined networks, cloud computing, and 5G standard is becoming common. And the loopholes in the system can be misused by the attackers to gain sensitive information that is important from biosecurity perspective or for financial gains. The business critical digital dependencies also pose the risk from biosecurity perspective. The technology is continuously evolving, and attackers or the agents of the revisionist proliferator states are innovative enough in evading the cyber security control measures. Hence, the forward thinking is essential in order to secure the biosecurity sensitive information and biological materials. Our digital dependencies for laboratory information management systems, process optimization, operational technology, knowledge discovery, decision support, Internet of Things, and for other digital systems that we use also makes us vulnerable if the appropriate control measures are not implemented in time. If you look at this diagram carefully, you will realize that how deeply we are dependent on digital infrastructure for various operations, including manufacturing and knowledge discovery. No doubt, digitization and automation is essential. In fact, it's the way forward. However, we need to bear in mind that cyber biosecurity should be in place to avoid potential disasters. Open source information have many benefits. On the other hand, from biosecurity perspective, open source information could serve as a valuable tool for the attackers, revisionist proliferator states or their agents. Take into consideration that open source data is available to everyone in an accessible way. Hence, biotech companies and stakeholders of the biological supply chains should focus their efforts on protecting biosecurity sensitive information. For instance, information available in quotations, details about shipping routes, tenders, proposals, and technical specifications could be a valuable source of information to proliferators. Other open source information, such as contact details, product details, scientific publications, ongoing research, smart solutions, proposals, fellowships, information about grants, awards, call for papers, recruitment descriptions, or information from hiring profiles posted on social media can be misused and could serve as a starter for the attackers and proliferators. For research organizations such as universities, colleges, research centers, biotechnology corporations, highlighting the strength and capabilities is important from marketing perspective. However, the information provided about vendors, suppliers, service providers, location, transportation, logistics, proprietary information, technology, people, internal controls, financing, legal procedures, supply chains can attract the attention of the attackers and proliferators. Hence, in order to protect our organizations, we should be mindful about what is made available through our websites and marketing materials. From cyber biosecurity perspective, some other areas of concern are biological data sets, research and development methodologies, reagents, instrumentation, information about researcher, facility designs, and blueprints, remotely monitored cameras, and building automation systems. There are many examples to quote. However, here the ultimate idea is to mitigate the cyber biosecurity risks to protect biosecurity sensitive information. It could be about biological materials and equipment. Now we will see some examples about the pathways to proliferation. One pathway which could be used by the agents of proliferators is spying on communications to learn how, when, where, what can be manipulated or stolen, or who could potentially be targeted. Another mode is manipulation of the conversation by posing as a legitimate person through email or audio pics or through a different telephone number routed to an illegitimate actor. The sensitive data or credentials can be stolen for accessing critical information, networks, enterprise systems, or biosecurity sensitive data. Agents of the proliferators could pose themselves as a new customer, supplier, vendor, service provider, regulators, or export control authorities. Because of the advancement in remote data management and communication technologies, proliferators can manipulate routing, warehousing, and freight forwarder, broker, or consolidator documents used for transshipment of dual use and export control items at identified vulnerable locations throughout the biological supply chains and during transfer or transport. Electronically, proliferators can manipulate purchase orders, banking details, and wireless money orders or shipping. Remotely, proliferators can also manipulate information related to inventories, bills of material, and supply chain management, including barcodes and RFID scanners that result in additional cyber complications or physical theft of dual use and export control items. Other innovative pathways used by proliferators include cyber-enabled manipulation of end-user certificates, service-level agreements or contracts between third-party suppliers, vendors, and managed service providers. It is also possible for proliferators to electronically manipulate intelligent transport systems, GPS coordinates, and cargo scanners. Proliferators can manipulate or steal dual-use information to compromise an organization or place it at disadvantage by causing financial, regulatory, legal liability, and reputational loss. It can be coupled with disinformation campaign. In addition, proliferator can threaten to or disrupt network access or delete or destroy or leak the data for the purposes of extorting financial compensations, additional proliferation, important information, or reputational damage, or it could be combination of all. Bearing in mind all these possibilities, we should not take cyber biosecurity lightly. Okay, finally, we will see trends in cyber security risk mitigation and organizational resilience. Remember, a software can be a weapon. Cyber security or cyber biosecurity risks can offset internal mitigation controls, including automated due diligence software put in place by know your customer and due diligence procedures. To overcome it, organizations must consider a robust human-centered performance requirements and a routine oversight. Take into consideration the regulatory environment is rapidly changing to include compliance requirements for managing digital infrastructure risk. Digital infrastructure supply chain risk management is necessary for managing third-party risks and mitigating proliferation prevention. Please note, 4 human performance factors are the largest indicators of cyber security risks in an organization. It is important to note that an organization, while introducing cyber-informed decision-making, including elevating the need for investment in both technology and personnel to match digital transformation dependencies, will not prevent an organization from being targeted directly or indirectly by cyber threat actors, including revisionist proliferator states. Organizations' strategic actions can work to mitigate cyber biosecurity risks to business critical functions and data and information. To mitigate cyber biosecurity risks, senior leadership and management need to prioritize and ensure feasibility of cyber security risks and cyber physical systems security risks as key strategic and operational risk indicators that can negatively impact enterprise risk management. As a part of biosecurity best practices, the organizations can adopt a zero trust mindset to protect sensitive information and interests from cyber threats. You have learned cyber enablements, advanced persistent threats, passive versus active attacks, digital transformation, business critical digital dependencies, biological industry informatics and information technology, open source information, cybersecurity risks, pathways to proliferation, and trends in cybersecurity risk mitigation. Here, the main message is, as a stakeholder of the biological supply chains, we need to bear in mind that cyber biosecurity is essential in order to protect biological materials, equipment, and knowledge. Okay, before we stop, I want to highlight that the next module will be dedicated to the role of institutions and companies in preventing the proliferation of dual-use biological materials, equipment, and knowledge. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.